Right, today is Monday, February 4th, 2019. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. So going to our 113 tasks, we mostly just have documentation changes at this point. We're still updating the cluster driver registrar README to be mostly accurate. And I think Saad is still working on the documentation. I'll try to poke him and get another update to where he is, I think. Oh, I still have this one. I think he hasn't updated it in a week, so yeah, I will ping him again. Oh no, he updated it yesterday. Okay. So keep on reviewing. Going up to miscellaneous topics. Patrick, you have some items here.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Luis to get his opinion about CSI test.
Okay.
He hasn't shown up yet.
Maybe ping him on Slack. I know he said he was gonna be like out or not very active over the first month or so of the year.
Yeah, I was expecting him back, but yeah, he's at least not showing up as online. I'll ping him. The other progress is that I've turned my README proposal into a more formal CAP, and I created a pull request today. That's now the place where we can discuss whether that's how we want to do things. So comments welcome. I didn't feel like a CAP is a perfectly good fit for what I'm trying to describe. Like the acceptance criteria, that was a bit hard to define, but I tried to stick to the template as much as I could.
Yeah, some of the sections might not make a lot of sense, but I think it's a good place going forward where we want to like document all our plans. All right.
So the next pull request list is basically also something that I just put into the document to draw some attention to it. The first 4 pull requests, that's all about synchronizing with the CSI release tools repository, and I think those have been open for a while. They just need approval.
Okay. Do you know who you're waiting on for those reviews?
It's actually, I think, I'm not sure whether it still needs a look good to me or just an approval. I think in most cases it's Saad or you.
Okay.
In one case, I think I don't know. So in some repository it was something else, but mostly it's you and Saad.
Okay. I will take a look then. I think I might actually. I don't think I have approval permissions for these repos, so I'll ping Saad. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm just going through the list. Yeah, it's mostly Saad. So I think ultimately Saad could handle all of them, and in a way it makes sense for that to be one person because it's always the same change. It doesn't make sense to get other people to look at the same thing and try to figure out what it's all about if we have one person who's aware of that and can make sure that it's all consistent. But yeah,
right. Sounds good. I will go and ping Saad today to take a look at this.
Yeah, and the connection handling, that's perhaps worth a short update. Jan and I have been discussing that back and forth a bit. And this pull request now implements what we discussed last week with an explicit or an optional explicit callback that an application can register to be notified of a connection loss to the CSI driver. But the default, as discussed, is that gRPC will just transparently or will try to reconnect. So as before, you may get an intermediate unavailable error, but trying again to send a gRPC method call will then go through eventually to the CSI driver once it restarts. But for those apps that need to do their own caching and need to know when the cache becomes invalid, we do have the option now to do something about it. And just today, John and I, we discussed that, in fact, it might be really the simple solution to just exit the sidecar with OS exit in that callback.
Okay, sounds good. Who do you need to help review this?
I think Jan and I, we are both fine with the content. We need an approver.
Okay, and is that also SOD?
Yes. Like in many of our repos. I know I still have the AR to come up with a table of listing who's actually approver in those various repositories. I still intend to do that. I just didn't get around to it yet.
Okay. All right. Next is snapshot testing.
Yeah, we've been discussing that, and I wasn't quite sure from your comment on Slack what we are waiting for now. You made a comment about adding something else.
We have to actually enable these tests. So like, as it stands right now, the tests will merge, but they won't run.
But didn't we have test failures because they were running? Or not anymore?
No, I think he should have fixed the test failure issues.
Yeah, but okay, but why did we get test failures if the tests don't run?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I was under the impression that the tests do run, at least on some jobs.
Let's see. Because it has a feature tag on it, I wouldn't have expected them to run.
Perhaps that feature tag has been added later on. I don't know.
Let's look at this snapshot.
I'm asking because I would like to see that merged, because I want to make changes to the code, and that's currently blocked. Because if I make those changes and we merge them, that whole PR then needs to be rebased, and that's just too onerous for the authors.
So it looks like one test ran. One test ran, which is interesting. Let's see. What comment did I make? Yeah, so this test, okay, this test is different. So this test has a feature tag on it, so that means it's not going to run, and it didn't run. The test that did run is this one, and actually that one should be under a feature tag too, because this is technically an alpha feature. So okay. Yeah, so this one test also needs a feature tag on it. All right, and yeah, I think that's it, and then it should, oh, I think there was also a different PR to add the test case to the alpha suite, so.
Yeah, there was something against test infra. It's one somewhere.
This one. Okay. Let me ping someone from SIG testing to look at this. Who's under the reviewers? Okay. Okay. Let me, I will ping someone to go approve this one. All right.
Okay.
Next, anything else you wanted to mention here?
No, let's move on. Thanks.
Okay. Next, we have reconstruction tests that are failing. There is a fix out that will fix the hard failure, which was caused by a new feature on the node side. There's still a race condition outstanding that Jing found, and I've asked Ye Chang to take a look at that if he has time. So we'll see. The test might still be flaky even after the hard failure is fixed. The next thing I wanted to bring up, I guess we have a little more people here, is if people think that maybe using GitHub projects to track all our work for 114 might be easier to use than updating this Google Doc every meeting. I don't know if anyone has had experience using GitHub projects to see if it works out well, but at least you can, I've looked at it briefly, and you can just track issues and PRs all under a item, and then you can, move the PRs, the individual tasks, and the item itself from like in progress to done and that kind of thing. I think the only problem is that you can only reference PRs and issues within the whole, within one organization. So we wouldn't be able to use this to track both the work we're doing in Kubernetes CSI and the work that we're doing in Kubernetes. So that might be a downside to using this. Does anyone have thoughts, opinions? Okay, nobody really cares. Maybe I will see if I have time to maybe test something out. Maybe I'll test this out on one of the items that we're doing, and we'll see if it actually works out well or not.
I agree that the Google Doc is no longer really that useful. Just really, as I said, it's too large, but I don't have experience with GitHub projects. That's why you're probably right. We need to experiment a bit.
Yeah.
When you say you can't reference, so you wouldn't be able to, is it just the autofill the hash and the issue or PR number, or could we still drop a link in there to do a direct reference to something that's?
I'm not sure. Actually, maybe I need to. Maybe I should actually spend some time and try this out and see if I can reference something in another organization. At least when I was like reading their how-to guide and stuff, it didn't seem like you could.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll double check and see.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to 114 items. First up is moving our CSI objects to beta. So if you were out last week, you might have missed the news, but we went to SIG architecture to talk to them about the CRD installation issues. And in the last meeting on Thursday, they agreed to let us move our objects back to in-tree API objects so that we can be unblocked while they go ahead and continue trying to find a good solution for CRD installation for core components. So David has a document that is going to outline all the code changes that we need to do to move things back to Intri. I've asked him to share this openly, so hopefully today or so you should see an email with the link to the document. Fabio, I think, is out until for the next few weeks. I've asked Xing if she can take a look at this work, and she's agreed to take a look at it. She is also traveling towards this first half of the week, but she said she could start looking at it the later half. So unless anyone else has some spare time and wanted to take a look at this, then we'll wait
I
for
have
Xing
just a
to get back.
question.
Yeah.
Do we need to maintain compatibility with the alpha version? So if somebody has alpha objects and upgrades, how this should work when moving from CRD to Intri object?
It's not going to be a seamless upgrade because, I mean, the CRDs themselves, they're alpha features. So we don't really offer like upgrade guarantees. So it will have to be, well, there will need to be some manual process that we need to maybe guide people if they do need to upgrade.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
So is the eventual plan to move back to CRDs like as
No.
or?
No, we will be core API.
Okay.
At least for these objects.
Sounds good.
Maybe if we need a new object in the future, maybe if they solve this issue in time, then they might make us go back to CRDs, but who knows?
Okay.
We'll see when that happens.
And this covers both the node info and the driver, right? Like
yeah,
both.
that's correct. I can't spell guarantee. But yeah, you bring up a good point. Let's, I know some people are probably depending on these CRDs already, even though they're alpha. I'll send an email out to SIG Storage to notify of this upcoming breaking change so that they can prepare. Maybe we should do this after we have a conversion guide. Okay. All right, so that's that item. So actually we can like X out all of this stuff. well, okay, I'll just cross it out. Yeah, so I think this this PR will probably have to be abandoned a bit. What this also means is now we don't need a webhook anymore, but we do need we can add this stuff into the core, the validation for the core APIs.
Cool. And some of that code was already put in as part of 113, so we just need to review it and see if we need to add extra validation.
Okay, awesome. This is changing. Okay, this is getting complicated. Well, I guess, okay, this will be part of the tasks to convert it from CRDs to core API. All right. Migration alpha. Deep, can you give an update on this?
Yes, so David sent out a mail listing out potential risk items that might affect the migration alpha. One of the key things coming in this week is besides the initial set of PRs around attach, detach, and mount, unmount, is another PR that enables dynamic provisioning. So this is an area where the provisioning PR can definitely use some reviews, mainly from Jan and Michelle, you and other folks.
Okay.
So basically in this PR, we implement what I guess we briefly went over during KubeCon around the changes needed in the core side, as well as some of the changes needed in the external provisioner. And again, this is not the Kubernetes CSI external provisioner, but the external provisioning controller that shims out to the external provisioner. So the core PR is out, and once that gets in, it makes a few changes in the staging repo. The external provisioner PR can be sent out, because that depends on the changes from the staging repo to be.
Okay, cool. And did you say the attach, detach, and mount, unmount are they merged or still under review?
They're still in review.
Oh, okay. So all of these need review.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And who are the best reviewers for this?
So I think all of them are getting assigned to Saad and Jan, and with you, Michelle, in the CC.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
If you don't see any reviews from them, feel free to just keep on pinging.
Sure.
I know Saad has a lot of stuff going on, so he doesn't. It's best to ping him directly on Slack. He doesn't look at GitHub mentions.
Yeah.
So.
Will do.
All right. Raw block beta.
Yeah. Hey.
Hi, Ben.
Hey. I've been missing these meetings for a while. I'm back.
Cool. So the KEP is merged. Is that correct?
Yeah, I saw it merge on Friday. Thank you for the reviews.
Oops.
The exception got approved. The KEP got merged. So I think, and I didn't check to see if the milestone got reapplied to the enhancements issue, but
Oh, okay.
But I think we're okay on all the process bits. The work just needs to be done now.
Okay.
And,
so last update, I think Sunny has a PR out to add block support to the host path driver.
So is that the Dark Owl ZZ guy?
Yes.
Okay. Sunny. I have not met him. Did you have his full name? Or?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll try to figure out who it is. Yeah, so I did a review of that, and I plan on doing some more testing of it. My review, all the issues I found were related to statefulness and idempotency problems, but as we discussed in the last meeting, the last Kubernetes meeting, the host path driver really isn't intended for production use cases anyways, so maybe none of that matters.
Yeah, I think so. I remember, Jan, you made some changes to the host path driver to actually create a directory in /temp so that it can actually handle restarts. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So at least we know the host path driver should be able to handle being restarted. And did you see other idempotency issues that were like that would?
You're talking about the host path driver. This is the
Yeah.
CSI host path driver.
Yeah. I mean CSI host path driver.
I didn't see any attempts to make it preserve its state like that, so it could survive a restart. Is it an unmerged PR, or did it recently merge? Because there's a big state map inside the driver, which is which it relies on for correctness, and if it gets restarted, that totally gets flushed. And so, yeah, writing it to a tempter and then reading it back in on startup would be the right way to preserve it, at least basically, so it could survive a restart. I didn't see any of that code in there because I was looking specifically for something like that to address the case when it gets restarted.
I think there is no state in host path driver. There is a state in the mock driver.
No, there's state. So like when you do a create, it stores something in a map, and then later when you go back and do a delete, it tries to look up the thing that is stored in the map, and if it doesn't find it, it fails. So if you had restarted the driver between the create and the delete would be guaranteed to fail because it could never find the.
Oh, it was possible to restart the host path. Okay, I will check it tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. So I think, do we agree that at least the host path driver should be able to handle restarting itself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. All right. Next is the inline volume stuff. Vlad, do you have an update on this?
Sorry, I was on mute. So the KEP, on Friday, I had some feedback on the KEP. The KEP was already merged, but I have another PR to make some update based on Jordan's input. He made some last addition on Friday. I haven't had time to push his updates, but I should be able to do that today and get that done. And then
All right.
that should be it as far as reviews.
Okay, awesome. And do you know, is Sergey is Sergey still going to be the one implementing this?
I have not heard from him. I plan on working on it as far as implementation. If he, I'll ping him again because I haven't heard from him.
Okay. Yeah, just ping him to coordinate and make sure, to make sure you both aren't working on the same thing. So.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's see. I think Snapshots, Xing is not around. And then we have this refactoring and cleanup stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. The refactoring, yeah, that actually has started. I have a PR I need to review. I just haven't had time to look at it.
Okay.
But they're still working on it.
Awesome.
And, I don't know if you've gotten to the other activity that Travis is working on, but I think the PR.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but it is
Okay.
on the radar.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool.
All right.
And let's see, Patrick, revamping the CI process. I guess you gave a sort of update earlier today. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about regarding this? Nope. Okay. Regarding tests, looks like I asked Jose to help look at adding tests for the cluster driver registrar. He has a PR out, so I can go ahead and review that. And then Xing has a coworker that's working on the E2E test for Snapshot. We talked about that earlier. Next up is the external provisioner timeout issues. Jan, do you have an update on this?
No, I don't.
Okay, the connection stuff is supposed to help with some of it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I know Matthew started reworking the controller to allow for better error handling, but I'm not sure how far he got.
Okay. All right, awesome. Thanks for the update. Okay, that's it for everything on the agenda. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up? All right, then we will call it a meeting. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.